What is this score? 133 by the Chennai Super Kings. I'm sure that's what you're wondering because it's been an IPL of bigger scores. You think at least when you're five down, you try to push to get a 160 odd. Baffling sort of innings. You've seen Ruturaj Gaikwad first look good and then end up striking at 108, 53 of 49. And Jagadishan, who in his first IPL game this season did find it hard, 39 not out of 33. All they've managed is 133. So we shall look back at that score with Dan Vettori and Piyush Chawla on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket Foot T20 timeout powered by IQ 9 5G. Please explain to me, what is this innings? What is the score, Dan?
What is this? Normally you look at the wicket. That's the first
Yeah.
thing that you assess. But the wicket looked great. I mean, Rashid Khan didn't really turn any balls. I can't think of any balls sort of holding up, and everyone goes to the proverbial tennis ball bounce, but none of that seemed to come into play. I thought it looked like a decent surface. I think firstly you look at Gujarat from a bowling perspective, and Shami was exceptional. I think that wicket of Devon Conway set the tone for him, almost been perfect with his lengths. I can't think of him missing at all. They got hold of Rashid Khan, Alazari Joseph bowled well, but in the end it just felt like a nothing innings. And when you looked up and saw that they only had 130, you couldn't quite believe it. But then you look through the strike rates, and there was no. I mean, we always talk about intent, but there was intent there, but there was just no ability just to strike the ball.
Piyush, please sum up that innings. Seems such a curious score, 133 for 5.
Yeah, well, as Dan correctly said, the wicket looked decent because I understand in afternoon game you still feel that wicket will be slow, but still, if you have 5 wickets down, 133 is like too low. I think nobody took their chances, especially somebody like Jagdish, and I understand he's playing his first game of this season, but still you need to bat better than that. You came in the middle order, you need to accelerate, but you going not out for 39 and strike rate just over 100. So I think overall the batting effort was not that great. I know they bowled Gujarat team bowled really well, but still at 133 the approach, the intent was not there clearly.
How do you describe the Ruturaj Gaikwad innings, Piyush? It looked like he was hitting a boundary every now and then to make it look like, okay, this is an in-form Gaikwad. In the end, he's 53 or 49. Can you explain that innings?
Well, in later half, like his inning, he was trying his best. He was taking his chances, but he was not able to middle it. Maybe because of the heat, as they mentioned, it's too hot and he was getting tired. I know he's a fit guy and everything, but sometimes when it's so hot, it's difficult to hit boundaries and you're not able to generate those power. You're not able to time the ball correctly. But still, the player like Rituraj Gaikwad, you need to get if you faced 49 balls, you expect at least somewhere around 70 odd runs from him. But today he scored 50, but he looked totally off color, to be honest.
Dan?
Well, Dhoni said it was too hot to field, so maybe it was too hot to bat. So that it could have been the reason. I can't quite work out Gaikwad's innings because it did feel like he had intent, and I feel like a number of times he stepped out and he smashed it and he'd pick out a fielder. So maybe we didn't need to give him a little bit of credit that the intent was there, just the execution and the ability to pierce the field wasn't quite there. Jagadeshan's innings is probably the one that you just need to see a little bit more from. He needed to either hit out or get out to complement what was going on, and then let Dubé and Dhoni come in a little bit down the line. So I imagine a frustrating display for everyone involved, but I wouldn't put it on Gaikwad. I feel like the intent was there. It just wasn't a good day from an execution standpoint.
Can I give you all an extraordinary stat? Not a single boundary in over 16 to 20 in the last 5. They've gone for 24, 6 of the last, 8 of the 19, that's 14, 17, 20, yes, 24 in the last 5 and not a single boundary.
So it feels almost impossible to be able to do that, but then you have to reflect on the bowling. And it looked like every bowler had a plan and understood where they wanted to bowl, particularly Yash Dayal at the end. He missed a couple of the wides, but that was an exceptional 20th or 19th over.
Yeah, 19th.
And then Shami came back and he was perfect again. So, yeah, I mean, on the back of watching someone like Andre Russell yesterday, who feels like every ball's going to go for 6 or 4, to then seeing 24 balls without a boundary, I think you've got to push the credit onto the bowling unit because that's just so hard to do.
I'm just thinking, Piyush, normally somewhere or the other boundaries come at the dead. They could come with edges, they could come off leg buys or whatnot. Not a single boundary. Could there have been an error? Do you think the ability of the batters was not there to clear these bowlers in front, and the shots just weren't there to go behind the wicket. Even MS Dhoni's come in and seemed to be blocking Rashid Khan in the 18th over. But did they struggle to just not find a way to get boundaries, even if it was hard to bat?
Well, when you talk about last 5 overs, generally, as you mentioned correctly, there are like one or two boundaries. They were trying their best. The intent was there, but they were just not able to get it. And we all know IPL is known to be, get so many records to be made. So this is also one of the record now in the kitty. In 16 to 20th over, there is no boundary scored.
Yeah, CSK are killing it with these records, right? They're getting all sorts. Yeah. Let's give Shami some credit, though. This is a bowler who's been spot on, including today. Wicket of Conway was, I mean, he even worked him out. Conway struggled to get bat on ball to him.
And it was a build-up as well. It wasn't just that ball. You could sense that he was on. He had pace, and right from the start, Gaikwad and Devon Conway looked like they were struggling against him. It wasn't easy, and they looked for some respite when Hardik Pandya came on. But I thought even his 2 overs, he hit the right length. So I think there's just a little bit in the wicket, not a 133 wicket, but enough to keep those fast bowlers content with when they hit the right length. So I think I've just been impressed with Shami and his pace off the wicket, and I think that's when you know a fast bowler is putting a lot of batsmen in trouble. When it feels like the wicket, it's gathering pace off the wicket. That's when fast bowlers, I think, are at their best.
Yeah, Shami's been at his best this season for you, Piyush. I think a couple of games that he went for over 40. Otherwise, he's been pretty much consistent this season. It's been one of his standout seasons, you think, or has it just been another typical Shami season?
No, 100%. This is one of the best seasons for Shami because we have seen him bowling in the game. Generally, he just bowls with the new ball, and by the time he comes to bowl in the death over, he goes for a lot of runs. But this season, he has worked on it, and he has bowled well in these death overs as well. Because we all know he can bowl really well with the new ball. The only problem was in the death overs. But this year, he has shown that he has those clear plans, and he came up with that in the death overs, and he has executed those plans beautifully. And he has done a great job for the Gujarat Titans, for sure.
There's maturity in Shami, almost like I saw his comments on Umran Malik too, just giving his very honest, sort of straightforward views on paces and everything and whatnot. There seems to be a maturity to his bowling which may well hold good when India have to pick a squad of players for. We're talking about a lot of young players, but Shami is nowhere. I mean, he's not out of it at all.
No, I don't think so. And I think it shows that Test match bowling works for the first sort of 16 overs of a T20 game. So he normally relies on heavy lengths and just a little bit of seam movement. And we talked about Siraj a couple of days ago and how he's lost that ability with the seam movement because of his seam position. Shami's seam position is impeccable. I mean, it's what all young fast bowlers should look at, just his release and his ability to hit a consistent area and then let the ball do the work. So he's not asking too much from the ball. He's not trying to swing it too far. He just hits such length. And the improvement and the maturity that you're talking about is the death bowling. Whereas in the past you thought Shami could be hit or miss like a Umesh Yadav, but now he actually has some really strong plans and he backs himself to hit that Yorker.
I guess the conversation for Indian cricket, Piyush, is Shami's always part of the plans, but is he always an automatic selection? Is he up there with Bumrah? We know there's Bumrah, and then we tend to think, right, maybe there's Shami. Would India go Harshal Patel? Would they go Deepak Chahar, Natarajan? But is Shami now clearly sort of your 11 pick, or are we not there yet? Do you think Shami is right up there in terms of playing in the first 11 in India's best T20 team?
Well, if you talk about his current form, he definitely looks like, one contender because the way he has bowled, he has got that pace, he has got that seam movement. As correctly mentioned by Dan, the seam position of Shami, the wrist position is so amazing. Like even on a wicket, there is nothing for the faster bowler. He gets something out of it. So definitely the way he's bowling, he should be one of the pick for sure.
Dan?
Well, he's in there with your 23 other fast bowlers that
you've
selected so far this team.
Now let me ask you if he's above those 21 of them. Bumrah's on top.
Mohsin Khan's first pick, obviously. And Arshdeep Singh. I think Bumrah and Harshal Patel have to be in the team just because of their death bowling and what they bring to the table. Harshal can bowl through those middle stages. The third seamer is tough to pick, but I think Shami's potentially clearing out because of his ability to take wickets in that power play, bowl aggressive through those middle stages, and with the back end taken care of with Patel and Bumrah.
Piyush, anything to add to that? If you were to pick an ideal 11 now, would you go with that? Bumrah, Harshal, Shami is India's best three?
Well, right now, looking at the current scenario, they look the best. And for me, I think I still pick between Harshal and Arshdeep, the way Arshdeep has bowled throughout this tournament, because he's just been outstanding in the death overs. And he's somebody who doesn't use new ball much, and he comes and he just hardly bowl one over. So there would be a pick between Harshal and Arshdeep, and Bumrah and Shami for sure. Because as we always say, power play is something which is very important, and how important it is to pick up wickets. And what Gujarat Titan has done in this tournament so far, they have picked wickets in the power play, and that clearly shows in the point table where are they at the moment.
Yeah, they've built their success on the back of a strong bowling unit. Now, CSK did give Mumbai Indians a scare when they had just 97 to defend. Wonder if at all they could give the Titans a scare with 130. We're going to see anything unusual in this next innings? Do you get the feeling at all, or this should be cakewalk for the Titans?
You'd think so because of how we talked about the surface, that we didn't see any demons in that MSK game. You could see the you could see the demons in the surface, and you could see that there was something going on. Whereas tonight, I think someone like Saha will show that intent, get them off to a start, allow Shubman Gill just to bat and bat and bat, and I think the total should be comfortable for them.
Piyush, prediction? Should be easy for Gujarat, or do we expect a twist?
Yeah, looks quite easy at the moment because there's nothing in the wicket, as Dan said. It looks a pretty normal wicket to bat on.
All right, let's see if the job is done then from the Titans. She'll make them the first team to 20 points, as well as they make a serious charge to get to those top two positions in the IPL standings. And we'd like to see a bit of Matisha Patirana, the exciting Sri Lanka under-19 fast bowler. Let's see how he goes in his first game. There's also Prashant Solanke on debut, so watch out for that. We'll pick up the chat with Piyush Chawla and Daniel Vettori at the end of the game. We'll also build up to Lucknow against Rajasthan. That game's got a lot more riding on it than this one, so do join us then on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Q9 5G.